Okay, my friends, so I'm going to go ahead and do your vocabulary review video. We've got a lot of different roots here this week as far as what our meaning is. So you see here we've got the CIT, then the CIV, but then you've also got the POLI and the POLIS and the POLIT. All of those are referring to citizen, state, oops, I just read those out of order. Geez. Citizen, city, or state. I want you to pay attention to this little asterisk here because it is explained down here. It says in this instance, the word state means any politically organized group of people occupying and controlling a definite territory, such as a country. Okay, so they're not necessarily, wow, I am really struggling today, you guys. They're not, talking about about like the state of something, how it appears or what condition it is in, and they're not talking about specifically like a state within a country, but it could possibly be a state or a city or even something smaller than that. It just depends. We're talking about like a territory almost more so that is governed. All right, so at any rate, let's go ahead and go through our word list here. I'll get it a little bigger there just so we're not squinting. If you hear crashing about in the background, that's because Skylar has joined me in the room and is causing a little chaos over there. So hopefully she won't bother me too much. All right, first word here is citadel. A citadel it's a noun, okay? So it is a thing. And you'll see over here it says a fortress in a commanding position in or near a city, a fortified place. A lot of times when I think about fortified, I'm thinking about like those big walls that they used to build around places, like around castles and stuff. So you're thinking it's fortified, and I always think about like the guys back here with their bows and arrows and how they shoot them off the edge. A citadel would be the location that would be happening, okay? So if you've ever seen something like that. Now I've got a whole little story going here, shooting his arrow off. But that is what we would be talking about with a citadel. Okay. Then we have a citation. A citation is also a noun. This is basically just a ticket or a violation of a minor law within a city or a state. So this would be like if you got a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. Where they would tell you, or I know in New Albany, you can get a ticket for a citation for not wearing a bike helmet within city limits. So those are just basically like, it's like usually has a fine that goes along with it, and you basically just have to do that to pay for your minor crime. Okay, so next is civil. Civil is an adjective, so that means it's used to describe a noun. And it basically just means peaceable behavior or public order, following the laws. So just being a good citizen and following the rules means that you are civil. Okay. Next one is civilization. Again, this is a noun, so this is a thing, and it is a group of people who live together, the way of life of a people having reached a civilized state. So this would be like any place where a group of people live together and they somehow are governing themselves. They have their rules, they have kind of their hierarchy, they have who's in charge and all of that. Next, we would have a metropolis. Metropolis is a word that I always end up thinking about Superman, and then I think of a big city and I think of all of that, and it gets me to the idea that that's pretty much what it is. We got a major city or a city or urban area that is regarded as the center of a specific area. So when you look like at New York City and you see how there's the Manhattan is like a really huge, like big skyscrapers and things like that are in there. That's like where you're looking at the metropolis. You've got this huge major city, this really urban area, and it's kind of like the center of the activity. Next, you've got a necropolis. So you'll notice these are very close to one another, except for this is metro and this is necro, okay? Those are very important to these words because they also are part of dictating the meaning. So metro, we associate with this idea of major cities. Necro, we actually associate with people who have died. So this idea is carried forward into this word because we're talking about specifically a large and elaborate cemetery belonging to an ancient city or historic or prehistoric burial ground. So this would be somewhere where you would place the bodies of the dead. And it's like a large place usually where many people have been buried. Next is police, and please notice that this is the verb. So they're going to use that on the quiz as a verb. So it's going to be the action of like policing a place. So you could say that I police the hallways during testing times because I want to make sure nobody's talking to distract the people in our wing. So I police the area to be sure that I can hush people if they need to be hushed. So basically, like I'm saying, it just is to help control it or to regulate it, and then just keep order, which is obviously, what we depend on the noun police to do anyway, is to help us keep order and to control. Okay, so then we've got policy. Policy is a noun, and it is just a plan or course of action of a city, state, or other organization. So a policy would just mean that they have put something into place where everybody agrees on it, and they're going to move forward with some sort of an action. I know a lot of times they'll put into place like you could take something to relate this to in regular times is there were policies in place for wearing masks during the heavier months of the pandemic. So that would be a policy that was put in place, and then we actually followed through with those actions. The next one is politician. A politician is also a noun. It is a person who holds political office. So that's not very hard to remember there. It's just a person who holds political office. You've got politician there. And then the last one is politics, which is what our politicians are involved with. Again, it is a noun. Got a lot of nouns on this list today. But you've got politics are just those activities, methods, tactics, anything associated with kind of the whole goings on of the government of a city or state. So anything related to the government and kind of what they're doing could be referred to as politics. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Guys, I don't think these are too terribly hard. You may end up obviously having a hard time if you can't remember those two beginning roots on metropolis and necropolis, but once you get those, memorized, I think that won't be a hard thing for you guys at all. And the rest of them I really feel like are pretty common sense. So should be a good vocab week. I wish you all luck, and I hope you practice some. Shout out to Skylar for not ruining this video. That's pretty awesome. I will see you guys soon. Love you. Bye. Mwah.